Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Ashley, and today I'm going to be giving you a look through each of my bookshelves all along this whole wall, and maybe even a couple more. We'll see. So I put a poll out on my community page, and while I didn't get a lot of votes, those who did vote unanimously voted that yes, you would like to see all of the books on my shelves. So we are going to go through shelf by shelf and just do a quick look. I think I'll kind of point out all of the books that I've read versus I haven't read, just very quickly as I run through, and then I think I'm going to be like really kind of considering what books are on each shelf and if I want to keep them all. Next weekend we're going to Second and Charles. Are having a big penny a page sale, so all of my girls and I are going, of course, because we cannot resist cheap books like that. And I thought while I'm going, I'll do a sweep through my shelves and see if I can't get rid of any, especially TBR books that I'm no longer interested in. I had a number in mind and now I can't remember what it was. I think I'm going to make a goal of about, let's say 10 books. If I could get rid of 10 TBR books off of all of my shelves, if I get rid of some that I have read along the way, that's great too. If I could make 25 as a stretch goal, that would be amazing. But let's just get started. This is going to be a long video, so grab a snack or a drink and come along and see all of the books on my shelves. And hopefully I get rid of a few. Alright, we're going to see what we can get done. This is my first shelf. Hopefully my battery lasts. I think my batteries are dying, and I ordered some new ones to be here tomorrow, but we're going to see what we can do here. My top shelf, I organize all of my shelves from A to Z by author. There's no other separation except for some special shelves. So we start here with Abrams. So you can see all the books here. Let's see, I have not read S. I have not read the Bromance Book Club. I've not read any of these Sarah Adams books. Have not read. Started this one, but did not finish. Have not read. Have I read any of these on this shelf? Let's see. Okay, I've read all of these Jen Bennett books. So there's 5 that I've read. Have not read. I've read Far from the Tree, and have not read Buried in a Good Book. So these right here are the only ones that I've read, and these are ones that I'm considering maybe unhauling. I haven't decided yet on Jen Bennett. So for now, I'm going to leave those here. Alright, so here we have, starting with Holly Black. I have not read that. There's 3 books by Corrie ten Boom I have not read. Have not read this. The Witch's Daughter, have not read. I read the Selection series. Have not read. I have read The Dream Daughter. Very highly recommend that one. Have not read Necessary Lies. I have not read anything by Colleen Coble. Not read. Of course, I've read the Hunger Games trilogy, the main trilogy. Have not read. House of Leaves, I also started. Didn't get very far, but that's on my goals this year. So, off of the shelf, is there anything I can get rid of? Okay, so I am kind of thinking that maybe the last one by Will Dean. I could probably... This one sounds really good though. But I think I'm going to put that one in the maybe pile. And this one, I picked this one up for free. I think out of a little free library or something. But this one's actually the second book in a series, and it's an art copy, so like I can put it in my little free library, but I'm going to be taking the books that I get rid of to Second Charles, and they won't take that. I think I'm going to get rid of that. So I've got one for sure, because I don't know when I'll actually get to that. Actually, you know what? I think I might get rid of Becoming Mrs. Lewis as well. I have had this for quite a while. I've heard kind of mixed reviews, except for maybe a couple good ones. And I would probably really enjoy it, but I don't know that I'll read it anytime soon, and I could probably get that from the library. So, let's see. I kind of want to get rid of the Corrie Ten Boom books. I really do want to read them before I get rid of them, or I might end up putting them on a different shelf, like for homeschooling or something at some point, but I am going to keep those. So I think I'm going to get rid of these 3 off of this shelf. Okay, so I'm going to have to pull a couple of these out for you because they're kind of tucked away back there behind the printer. First we have Haunted Ever After. I have not read this. The Hideaway, have not read. Hurricane Season, I have not read. Then we have The Rest of the Story. I have read that. I really enjoyed it. I have actually really enjoyed all of Sarah Dessen's books that I've read, but I've only read like 2 or 3, I think, and I only have 2 on my shelf, so I haven't read the other one. Then we have The Orphan Sisters, Summer After You, haven't read those. For Your Own Good, have not read. Let's see, The Murder Game, have not read. I have read A History of Wild Places, and I really liked that. I loved The Wicked Deep. Have not read this one yet. Haven't read. I did read Black Ice. I read this a long time ago. I really enjoyed it at the time. I really want to reread it, and I anticipate getting rid of it after that, but I want to reread it first. And we have 2 of Huntley Fitzpatrick's books. I've read both of these. I have another one on my TBR card over here that I need to read this year. And I really love those. Those are ones, though, that I might be able to unhaul. But I've already read them, so that's really not my goal today. Have not read. I did read Bitter and Sweet. I loved that. I have read Every Summer After. I have not read the other 2 Carly Fortunes. I want to. Haven't read. I did read Carval, and as well as the rest of the trilogy, but I only kept the first one. This is a special edition that I got from England that my husband bought for me, so I don't want to get rid of that. And then I have not read those. So right off the bat, I'm thinking this one is probably one that I could get rid of. I don't remember where I got this, and I haven't heard anyone talk about it, so we're going to get rid of that one. Let's see, and then what about this one? I heard someone raving about this, but I don't know. I do really enjoy historical fiction, and this sounds like something I would probably really enjoy, but I'm thinking I can probably unhaul this. I'm going to put this in a maybe pile because I don't know yet. Let's see. I kind of feel like I could probably unhaul this one, but I do know that this one, I believe, is the one that has deaf representation, and I really want to read that. I want to at least read it first because I have a friend who's deaf that I grew up with in high school. So yeah, I think, well, not that one. What about this one? I mean, it would probably be really good, but like, I just don't see myself picking it up anytime soon, so I will probably get rid of that one. Let's see. I think that's all for this shelf. Okay, so that is the last shelf of the first bookcase. The top shelf up here, you can't really tell. I can't get a good angle. It's just photo albums and Gone with the Wind. And then we have like school stuff, and there's like some random nonfiction and yearbooks and stuff all on those shelves. So we're not going to go over that. And then just so I don't have to go through it again, at the top here we have Harry Potter UK editions, Harry Potter dolls and memorabilia, more Harry Potter shelves, 2 of them. So we're not going to go through those. So over here we have some Harry Potter memorabilia on top, and then a shelf with a read displaying book and some Mashams. I don't know if you can see those. On the top shelf over there is just more old books and wedding decor display and such. So I'm not going to go over all those, but other than that, we'll go over all the other shelves except for the Harry Potter shelves. So bookcase number 2, the first shelf. This bookcase is a narrow one, so there's not a whole lot. Let's see. Have not read, have not read. I just read These Silent Woods this year. I really liked that. I have read All the Ugly and Wonderful Things. I have not read these. These are ones that I actually took to Second and Charles, but they wouldn't take them, and so I brought them back, and I just have them here for now. I figure if my girls want to read these sometime, then I have them. I have not read Roots. I have never heard anyone talk about this, but last year I went to visit my grandma, and we watched the whole like new series of this. It's like a 4-part movie, essentially, or whatever, and it was really, really, really good. I highly recommend, so I do want to read that. And so yeah, I've only read one book on there. I don't know if there's anything on here that I want to get rid of. And I'm actually doing pretty good, so I guess I am okay with that. All right, next shelf, I have kind of a big deal. I have not read. I just got these not too long ago. It's the House of Dies Dreer, which I used to read when I was a kid, and there's a sequel, and I got these for super cheap on Thrift Books. So for now, I'm going to keep those. Let's see how many Kristen Hannahs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Kristen Hannah books, and I've read 1, 2. I really, really want to get to some more of these, especially The Women and The Great Alone. And I think it's Homefront that I really want to read. So yes, and have not read this one. So the only one I would even really consider getting rid of is kind of a big deal. I think I might put this on my maybe pile. Alright, we're getting down. We have 3 more shelves on this bookcase. Let's see. Where the Lost Wander. I did read that. I really loved it. Have not read this. Have not read this. Have not read this. I have read this. Now this book, I read it. I almost DNF'd it. Finished it. And was like, 3 stars. I'm going to get rid of this. And then I couldn't stop thinking about it. Ended up rebuying it. And bought some more that I have yet to read, but I want to. Wayward, Still Beating, have not read. Have I read any of these? Definitely want to keep the Emily Henry, Grady Hendrix, Wayward, Still Beating, and Alex E. Harrow. This is probably this one and this one are maybe ones that I could think about getting rid of, but this one I've bought like 3 times. I just need to read the darn thing because I keep picking it up and then I keep getting rid of it. I don't know why, so I just need to read it. So yeah, not getting rid of that, but like maybe this one. I've heard really good things about this one though. I might put this one on the maybe pile. We're here. We're doing the best we can. The amount of finagling that I have had to do in order to film this shelf, let me tell you. Another Grady Hendrix that I haven't read. We Were Beautiful, I have read, and I really liked that. They Went Left, I have not read. I read another Monica Hesse book that I really liked, but I did get rid of it already. Let's see, have not read any of these, except Verity. My daughter read The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer, but I have not read any Colleen Hoover besides the one. I've kind of been thinking about getting rid of this one and maybe Slammed, but I do really want to read this, I think. And also The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer, I think I want to get rid of. But then my daughter read it and her reactions, and she was like, you need to read this. So now I'm like, okay. So I don't think I'm going to get rid of any of the ones that are on the shelf. Okay, bottom shelf here. We have Closer to Nowhere, which I have not read. Collateral, haven't read. Have I read any of these? Okay. The Holly Jackson series, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I've read the first one. I've read Good Girl, Bad Blood. But I have not read the third, As Good as Dead, or the novella Killjoy. The first one's on my TBR cart. Haven't read the rest of Holly Jackson's books, or Monday's Not Coming. Yeah, I don't think I want to get rid of anything on this shelf. The only one I would consider is Librarian at Auschwitz, but I think I want to read that. This is the last shelf of the second bookcase, so we are doing pretty good on this flashing battery. So here is the second from the top Harry Potter shelf, and I'm not going to take any of these like decorations or move any of the books or anything. These are just multiple editions of different Harry Potter books and all that kind of thing. So of course I'm keeping all of that, but I wanted to give you a look anyways. Alright, this next shelf is mostly a classics shelf. This one here and this one are just dust jackets that I took off of books that are being read. But most of these are classics, and most of these I have read. There are some that I haven't. I have not read The Little Prince. There's A Little Princess, A Secret Garden, Gone with the Wind. I've read all of those. Mary Poppins, I have not read. Rebecca, another Gone with the Wind, I've read. This is David Copperfield. I have not read that. Charlotte's Web, I've read. The Christmas Doll, I've read. I have not read Wuthering Heights. I just got that one. We have A Christmas Carol that I've not read. Another copy of Little Princess. I want to annotate this one, I think. Then we have a Little Women set. I've only read Little Women. I haven't read the other two. Hey guys, so it's the next day and I had to get new batteries. Got those finally. And so if I look a little different, that's why. We're just gonna keep on rolling, and I'm gonna try and pick back up where my battery died last, which was yesterday. So I'm gonna try and remember, but if I miss a few, that's what's going on. Alright, so I think I left off right around here. Here's another copy of The Secret Garden, which again, I've already read. Heidi, I have not read this edition, but I have read it a long time ago when I was a kid. So, I've read A Little Princess. I have not read Anne of Green Gables. Hopefully soon. Alright, so then we have The Odyssey I've read, Great Expectations I've read, Treasure Island I have not read, but my son read it for school, so someday I'm going to read it. Wonderful Wizard of Oz haven't read, Peter Pan haven't read, I have read all of the Chronicles of Narnia, have not read Pinocchio, and have not read Beauty and the Beast. So this shelf here is mostly middle grade. First off, we have all of Shel Silverstein, which I have read all of. Have not read this one. I think I've read this one, but I want to restart this whole series, and I need the first one still, and I think there's like a third or fourth one. I'm missing two of them. So I haven't read any of those. Have not read The Candy Makers. Have not read. There's this little book. Haven't read that. I have read The Giver. I've read all of the Janie series. I have not read this one down here. I have not read any of these over here. I have the first book in the Morgan Crow series that I have read. It is on my TBR shelf to be reread. This is The Root Cellar by Janet Lund. This is one of the oldest books that I remember reading as a kid and just really, really loving. And I had to hunt this copy down, and I love it so much. Up here, I have not read any of these Green Glass House books or the Van de Beekers. I have read The Forgotten Girl. Then we have the Sunny graphic novel series. I've read both of those. I have not read The Parker Inheritance, or A Pinch of Magic, or Keeper of the Lost Cities, or Wing Feather #1. I do not believe there's any on the shelf that I am willing to part with, so I think we're good here. Okay, so on this shelf, we're getting back into the books that have been organized by author's last name. First off, over here, we have all of Nita Jackson's books. I have the first and I think the second of the Yada Yada Pro Group series on my cart to reread, but I have not read any of these. I've read the third and the fourth and have not read any more. So I'm working on reading this series this year. I have not read any of Abby Jimenez, have not read any of these. I have read Rose Madder, have not read The Exiles, but I have read The Orphan Train, and have not read A Piece of the World, have not read, and I have actually read Anna Holidays. I haven't heard the greatest things about Christina Baker Klein's other works. I forget which one of those, but I think I'm going to try those. I can maybe get rid of this one. I don't know. I have heard great things about this series that they wrote, and this is by the same author. I'm gonna put this in my maybe pile. Other than that, the only other one, it would be maybe this one, but I have heard really good things, and I actually do have the box of items that goes along with this from the Once Upon a Book Club. So because of that reason, I'm going to keep this. I hope to one day actually read that and be able to open up the gifts along with the pages. Alright, hopefully we can do this without messing up the camera, but we have Say You're Sorry over here. I have not read.
Hi, chat. What's up, chat? Okay, bye.
Bye. Alright, have not read. I have read The Honk and Holler opening scene by Billy Letts like a really long time ago. I've read Where the Heart Is, have not read these. I have read all of these Emery Lord books, these first three rather. I have not read this one. I have read Tweet Cute. Have not read. I have read Christy. Let's see.
Hey, chat.
Go.
Heard you recording.
I have not read any of these except Second Chance Summer, and have not read. This is one I never really hear about that I might be willing to get rid of. I'm going to put this on my maybe pile, but it's probably going to go. This is one that I'm really not interested in, but a really good friend gave it to me and said it was so good, so I do think I want to at least try it before I get rid of it. This one might go on the maybe pile. I highly doubt it's good, but I kind of want to try it, but I'm going to put it on the maybe pile. Alright, so on this bottom shelf, we at least have a good few that I've read. I have not read Green Lights. Have not read. I have read Female of the Species, but not Heroine. I have not read any of Jennifer McMahon's books. I can't remember if I read this. I don't think I have. Have not read. I have read all of the Lunar Chronicles though, and there's a special edition of Cinder Up Here, which I just got for Christmas, so that counts as read. I do not think there's anything on the shelf that I am willing to get rid of, at least not right now. I do want to try these. I do want to read this. I used to love Mindy McGinnis. I've heard amazing things about Jennifer McMahon and Susan Meisner, so let's move on. So before I go moving all this stuff off of this next shelf, I wanted to show my bookmark collection. I have quite the collection. I have a set here, and then these cups are full of different bookmarks. I think this one is all Harry Potter related bookmarks. I'm not sure. I have recently upgraded to a third mug. And then I have a couple more. There's some England ones. And these are new. These are Little Wizard of Oz. And I think, yeah, there's some other ones back there. And then Reading Log bookmark. So yeah, I have a bajillion bookmarks. And very rarely do I actually use them. But you know, that's okay. Alright, so I have not read Marmee, but I really, really want to. I loved Caroline. Have not read. I have the first one in this duology. It's on my TBR cart to be reread, so I have read that one. Have not read these. I read this earlier this year, and I actually really, really enjoyed it. I have read The Night Circus. This is one of like 8 copies that I own. All the rest are in my room on a different shelf, but this is the one that got sent in a group and like people annotated and tabbed and everything, so that's really cool. Have not read, and I have read A Cuban Girl's Guide to Tea and Tomorrow. I've kind of considered giving this one up, but I really enjoyed this, so I don't think so. If I do, I'll end up giving it to probably one of my girls, but for right now, I'm going to keep it. All right, next shelf down, I have not read this, have not read this. I have read If You Had Been With Me, which I absolutely loved, hence the special edition. Not getting rid of either one of those. I have not yet read any of Lynn Painter, but my daughter really loves her, so I definitely want to try these. Even though I haven't heard the best about this one, I thought maybe I would start with it. Have not read this, have not read, and I have read this whole trilogy. This is one that I'm thinking about unhauling. I really enjoyed this, but I read this way back at the very beginning of my booktube journey, and I think I'm gonna put this on my maybe pile. Although these are books that I've read, so it doesn't really matter as far as my TBR books. I don't know. I'm going to leave them on my shelf for now because they are books I've read before. Down here, I have not read Darkly. I have read this whole Survivor series. Have not read... I do believe I've read Trouble. I have not read Awake. I've read The Cellar. I have not read The Fear or The Twin. Have not read and have not read. This one's an iffy one. This is going to be a maybe. I need to look into it a little more. And this one might be a maybe. I want to try this one. This one, for now, I'm going to keep it. But that one may be on the maybe pile. So, yeah. Alright, last shelf on this bookcase. We have this trilogy that I have not read. Have not read, have not read, have not read any of these Francine River books except for Redeeming Love. I've read that one. Haven't read any of the other ones. That's a lot of Francine Rivers. I honestly don't think I will read all of those, but I've heard really, really great things, so I really don't want to get rid of any of those. So yeah, I think that's it for that one. All right, we are on to the last bookshelf, and we're going to be working with some weird angles here, but we will do the best that we can. Over here we have How Not to Fall in Love. Have not read that. Have not read this. Haven't read, haven't read. I have read Eleanor and Park. I've read Landline. I've read Pumpkinheads. Haven't read any of these. I have read Room for Hope. Let's see. Have not read any of the rest. I don't know about this one. Like, I've heard amazing things, but who knows if we'll ever finish the series. I've had this book at least twice, and I got rid of it the first time. Got it again. Like, do I keep it? Do I not keep it? I'm going to put it on the maybe pile because I don't want to start a series if it's not going to end. And then maybe this one. Yeah, I think I'm going to get rid of this one. The only other one would be maybe this one, How Not to Fall in Love. This cover is so soft. I love it. See, I read the back. So now I think I'm going to keep that. And I think that'll be it for this. I've heard this was a series I really wanted to read at one time. I don't know. This is like one of Nora Roberts' only books that are, I guess, not romance. So if you have read these and enjoyed them, let me know. Or if you think it's something I could probably pass on, let me know that too. I'm going to leave them here for now though. So on this shelf over here we can't see is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I really love this cover and I love this book. I have read it. I have not read the archive series by V.E. Schwab or these either. Or this one. Or this one. I really didn't realize I had so many V.E. Schwab books I haven't read. So, and I have 2 books by Rebecca Searle. Haven't read those. Haven't read. Have not read. Have not read. Have not read. Now I have read Scythe and Thunderhead. Scythe is on my cart to be reread. Haven't read these 2. Have not read Flawless. I did read One Day in December. What's back here? Have not read Mr. Penumba's 24-Hour Bookstore. Have not read. Have not read. This one I have read. I really, really loved that for the deaf representation. And I have not read this. These have been on my shelf for so long but there was apparently supposed to be a third one that's never been written. And I used to hear good things, but I haven't heard anything about them lately. I think I'm still going to let them be on my shelf though. I haven't heard the greatest thing about this either. I might put this one on my maybe pile. What about this one? I'm going to leave this one on my shelf for now, but has anyone read this one? I haven't really heard anyone talk about this one, so if that's a good one, let me know, or if you think I should get rid of it, just tell me your thoughts on that. Other one that I would maybe consider getting rid of is this one, and again, I think this is the second time I've owned this. Oh, and it's blurbed by Erin Morgenstern. I think I'm going to keep that because I love Erin Morgenstern, so if she likes it, then maybe I'll like it. We have 3 more shelves left to go. Alright, so on this shelf I have these stacks here. These are all books that I have not read, but that's because they're like some of the most recent adds to my shelf. So we have The Words We Lost, The One I Left Behind, The Housemaid, House of Salt and Sorrows, an arc of We Could Be Magic, The Spell Shop, Sovereign I did read, that just came out at the end of February, My Dark Vanessa, Spells of Lost Things, and The Coven and the Cursed. So we'll just move these out of the way. Up here I have Just Don't Fall, I have not read. Touch of Darkness I did read. I have not read The Book of Cold Cases. I did read The Broken Girls. Have not read any of these 3 Simone St. James yet. I did read The Sundown Motel. Haven't read these. I did read Hotel Magnifique. Have not read any of these. I did read Remarkably Bright Creatures. Have not read The Haunted. I have read Stay Sweet. Haven't read. And the last is The Glass Castle, which I have not read. This might be one that I'm willing to get rid of. Yeah. This is one that I don't know. I've heard of Peter Swanson, but the one book I've read by him was just fine. I'm going to put this on my maybe pile. This one I think I'm going to get rid of. I got this out of a little free library, so I'll probably put that back in ours. This is one that I'm unsure of. I kind of want to read it. I'm going to leave this on my shelf for now, but if this is like really bad or something, let me know what you think about getting rid of that. That's good for the shelf. Alright, here, I have not read these. Not read. I have not read any of these, but I wasn't too big on the one Ruth Ware book I did read, so these are kind of like, I don't know, I'm kind of considering getting rid of these 2. These are ones that I don't hear about as much. So maybe I'll put those on the maybe pile. Let's see, I have not read all of these. All of these are Casey West books. And I don't think I've read every single one, but I can't exactly tell you which ones I've read. I think I've read that one. I may have read that one. I've read this one. I don't think I've read that one. And I think I've read these, but I can't tell. They're probably just going to stay here though, because those are like really quick, easy reads for me to get through. Have not read. I don't think I've read any of these except for The Lost Girls of Willowbrook. I've read that one. This one might be a maybe. I think I'm going to put this on the maybe pile. Alright, y'all. Last shelf. Crush and Covet. I have not read. I have Crave on my TBR cart to reread. I have read this one. Have not read. I did read The Last Letter. That was really good. And I have not read any of the others except The Book Thief. I have read that one. The only one on the shelf currently that I might get rid of is this one. I'm going to put this one on the maybe pile, I think. So that's that. Down below is just books for school curriculum. So that's all the books on my fiction shelves. Okay, I am finally done. I knew that would be a big undertaking, but it was bigger than even I anticipated. So let's run through all of the things I'm going to be getting rid of, and then we'll count them up. Alright, so in my pile to get rid of, I have The Death of Mrs. Westaway by Ruth Ware, The Lion Game by Ruth Ware, We Should Hang Out Sometime by Josh Sundquist, 9 Lives by Peter Swanson, The Red Hunter by Lisa Unger, Invisible Ghost by Robin Schneider, The Orphan Sisters by Shirley Dixon, The Saints of Swallow Hill by Donna Everhart, The Murder Game by Carrie Doyle, Becoming Mrs. Lewis by Patty Callahan, and Mermaid Moon by Colleen Coble. Those are all the ones that I'm pretty sure that I'm going to be getting rid of. And then I have a stack of maybes that I might be getting rid of. I would say probably, but I'm still on the fence a little bit. I have Valentine by Elizabeth Wetmore, The Museum of Intangible Things by Wendy Wonder, City of Ghosts by Victoria Schwab or V.E. Schwab, The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss, There's No Such Thing as Vampires by Heather Masterson, Say You're Sorry by Melinda Lee, Unearthed by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner, The Last One by Will Dean, Kind of a Big Deal by Shannon Hale, The Sweetness of Water by Nathan Harris. Those are my maybes. And I would say of both stacks, at least half of these have been on my shelves for many years. So if I haven't read them by now, why are they still there? I probably won't be getting to them anytime soon. Let me know in the comments down below if there's anything on my shelves that like you should have gotten rid of that one too. I would love to know. Thanks for watching and sticking around for this entire video, and I will see you next time. Bye!